Hello, I'm Rachel and I'm going to talk you through the Motherease Sandys nappy, how it works, how it fits and how I find it. This is probably our go-to nappy in the house. We haven't had a single leak out of them. These nappies are quite baggy, they're not the trimmest. They don't fit sort of as trim as some of the pocket nappies such as your Tot Spots and Bum Genius, but I generally prefer them for containment. And our little girl is quite a heavy wetter, she does very floody wheeze, and I find with the pocket nappies she floods them so quickly it doesn't get through the fleece fast enough. With these nappies you've got hip snaps and waist snaps. Well, let's just fold that out. And you can see you've got 3 hip snaps and 2 waist snap settings on each side. And with the Motherease, it really doesn't matter if you've got, say, it on 2 and 1 on the waist, because they sit fine and they don't leak. We also boost all of the cotton nappies with a bamboo booster, because she's quite a heavy wetter and does very floody wheeze, and it just makes sure everything gets absorbed properly and she ends up a bit more comfortable. This is a Little Lamb's large booster, and I believe it is the less thirsty of the 2 varieties. Where she's quite sensitive to being wet, I use a fleece liner, and these big square ones are the Bambinecks, and I lay them in the nappy. I generally have them a thumb's width from the elastic on each side, which generally ends up with a good fit when I'm prepping them. I just fold them, pop them in the bucket, ready to use. My husband finds those a bit wide and hard to deal with, so we've got some random second-hand Wham liners, and they work better for him. So it's all about personal taste here. Let's change that bottom. You start off with a clean, dry baby. I've just got this extra liner here to protect her modesty. So let's lift up her leggies and tuck the nappy under her body. It should line up. The back of the nappy should line up with her, be in line with her hips here. And we draw the nappy up through her legs. I like to, if it's a wide one like the Bambinecks, just tuck in the corners slightly so that as it comes up, it doesn't stick out of the frillies on the edge of the nappy. Just encourage that leg down. You pull this tab up and round. Now the Motherease fasten backwards, unlike pocket nappies which commonly fasten in the forwards direction. I find this sometimes confuses people. Let's just whip out this extra liner. Oh, that's come unfolded. Let's just tuck that back in. So again on this side, tug it up and round and pop that into the hip snap just there. Now that's on the middle setting for her, and you'll see that it's got a bit of I can get my fingers in there comfortably, but it's not saggy, it's definitely sealed. You need to make sure your frillies are out. And it's at this point I like to just make sure the back of the liner is sitting well. So I tuck my fingers in and just make sure that it stayed nice and flat and is covering her bum, because she doesn't like being wet and she will grot. And do the same at the front. Make sure that that liner is sitting nicely across the body of the nappy, just by sort of pulling it out to the corners there, as you can see. Then do up the hip snaps. She is on 2 and 1. She's quite a wiggly baby, and for containment I'd still prefer to have it on 2 for sort of her size, but where she's wiggly, it does tend to rub a little. So you can see that this is sitting below her belly button, but well above her bum bum at the back. So it's nice and high at the back. Before I put the wrap on, I like to just make sure that this is sitting nicely and isn't bunchy and horrible through the crotch of the nappy. I then take my wrap and the liner. I generally put it about a thumb's length down the liner down the wrap, because just the way she wees and how she wees, it seems to work best for us. So for us about there. You'll notice that this is a Bambonex small liner rather than the large liner that we had before, but had to do this over a couple of nappy changes because we have a wiggly shouty baby. So you center her on the wrap. I put it just above the nappy at the back, so I'm less likely to have to tuck it. When I bring it up through, bring it across, bring this forward. On her, I need to put it on the middle snap for size. And when I come to the other side, commonly it's a bit difficult to do it up on that side, because she just wiggles around in it. If that happens, I just tuck my hand under that leg to brace and just give it a tug and wiggle it over. It's not something that's happened on this occasion, but it's a good little trick. So I do up that snap. Again, she's on the middle hole there, and that, when you've got it down in the right place, makes a fairly loose but secure seal around the leg. And the Motherease nappies do not sit into the knicker line. If you tuck them in the knicker line, they'll be uncomfortable for baby and you likely get leaks. So then I do at the waist. She's one popper off the tightest on the waist because she's wiggly and she'll end up with little rubs otherwise. Also on this wrap, it's a second-hand wrap and the elastic's a little bit slack. So I have to do it up a little bit tighter than some of the newer ones. And we check the back to make sure that the label is on. I find the Motherease labels have a habit of sticking out, so either cut them off or I tuck them in depending on whether I can be bothered. So that's wrap, covers the nappy all the way around at the waist and all the way around at the leg. And now we can put on a vest. I quite like these vests. They are the H&M vests with the cross front. They work really well. One thing you've got to watch out for with any cloth nappy is it being too tight through here. These ones obviously aren't, but I find with the Motherease, if you get it too pressed, it gaps here on this edge, and that's where the nappy pokes and you end up with your wicking leak. So just make sure that it's not too tight through the leg, and that's done.